No one did, because they know I'm here too.
I like going live just with the end of... So it makes it sound like you're just a madman. Like, I mean, you were a madman anyway, even with context, but, like, more so.
More.
Yeah.
He's...
So, is there anything else anyone would want to do over the evening? You know, this is a night's work for Torin. You're kind of stuck working away on this. What about the rest of you? The soup stew that you assist with, Richter, turns out pretty alright, you know. Better than a lot of their other food recently.
Hell yeah.
Need peas in it. Adds that little bit of salt.
Little bit of extra secret ingredient.
I imagine Balara just like standing next to the fire, just like scooping it into her mouth like a fucking barbarian, and be like, "Hey, pretty good."
Yeah, hell yeah. No complaint about that.
What would I be doing?
You don't have to be doing anything. You could just have a night's rest if you want.
Murder Miss Mortar for all
I
her
would-
goods.
Actually, probably ask Torin to help me dig graves after, or Richter, I mean, after dinner.
Well, yeah, it would. Definitely.
And Oscar.
Yeah, Oscar absolutely would. This would be one point when, you know, Oscar didn't necessarily show you this. You might have seen it, but Oscar would, you know, as you go over to where you want to build the graveyard, as far away from the river as possible, there is the dead. They are wrapped and given some honor, you know, but not... The rituals are necessarily not fully complete, but he does take a quick look over them with a torch, with a dour face, and then will pick up a shovel and start digging. He will say that this is going to take some time, and the funerals, but it is worth doing right.
Agreed.
After this, we should decide what is to be worked on next. We have shelter now. It will do for a time. We can work on... I believe it was the boy Torin's idea. Pack earth around the outside like the guide's hut. It's a good idea, but not worth your time. We can work on that. A solid food source is what we need. I do not believe we can cure the corruption by the winter. So, I would say, looks directly to Balara. It might be worth asking if the gnomes have anything. Correct me if I'm wrong, they grow food underground. Yes? They might have something, maybe.
Should I set off right away?
It is up to you. We can build a graveyard, or I will allow you lot to make your own decisions. But something that we can grow over the winter, maybe in the mine. That would at least be something to assist.
If I may, with all due respect, when I look after myself, I do just fine. But when I'm looking after others, I'm gonna need some guidance.
What is it you think you need?
What is it you think we all need?
Food, shelter, security.
Shelter I'm working on.
Yes.
Shelter I've taught people.
Yes. But when the blessings of Eric stop holding and the winter winds come, those little shelters will do no heed.
Okay.
Your shelters
Well, then-
serve well, but in time we will need to build new houses.
I'm fine flying by night. If I leave now, I should be able to reach the gnomes before we run out of food.
Take someone, at least. Ideally... I do not know what a tree would know about gnomes. Or what a tree would know about caves. But the tree knows things. And I understand well enough that they understand things that I could never understand. And if you are to be beset, then you would want Torin's healing hands and my son's spear by your side.
She smirks.
He
She looks
does
back.
not.
And she looks back and is just like, can I count on your healing hand and your spear?
Yes. You can't see me because I'm in a hole.
Yeah, exactly. He will actually step up to Blar and like put a fatherly hand on her shoulder and will say, "You're stronger together. Remember that." And then we'll get back to digging.
She'll squeeze his hand first. And, like, okay, well, get out of the hole.
Alright, so you want to travel by night with the group and start heading towards the gnomes?
Yeah, we'll need, like, lanterns. We'll need to gather supplies and stuff first.
You have torches. I don't think you would have lanterns. You've seen Miss Morta have a lantern. But, like...
I have a lantern.
Ooh. You would have a lantern as well. I mean,
I do
that
have
fits.
a lantern, yeah.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, yeah, and sort of go and get your supplies, because this kind of campaign, there's no real reason to believe you'd always have all of your stuff with you, because you're usually so close to home, but you're heading out, you're gonna get all the rope, the torches, the everything, you know? Would any of you question this? And Balara's like, we're going.
Yes. Torin's like busy looking after like
Griff.
her dad, and then
Yeah.
she just turns up in the night. Like, by the way, we're going.
Yep.
So,
Torin would be like, "What? Now? I've just." Well, I understand how this sounds, but I've just chopped your dad's leg off, and it's
And
quite
we
a lot
can't
of work.
eat it, so we need to go get food elsewhere.
Right, yeah, but do you know what happens if he bleeds out because one of us ain't here?
Leia will be here.
Right, Leia is old. It's not fair to ask her to stay up all night. She's been working very hard because there's been a lot of injured people. Well, you can't rush everything.
How long, Torn, do you suppose that starving will wait?
At least until the morning.
Would Richter know exactly how much we have stockpiled? I feel like that's something he might know.
you really don't have a stockpile. Kind of like 2 days at a time. You know, you're going now. You've pretty much got 2 days of food. It's kind of more than 2 days to the gnomes, unless you're really quick and really fleet of foot.
The thing is that people will like still scavenge and not starve. They
People
just
will
not be
gather
getting-
food. You just
like-
won't have a surplus. Yeah.
At the end of the day, they'll start like boiling tree bark and shit. That will stop them from dying.
It's what's going on right now is the perpetual stew, right? You're gonna have the fish that Amaryllis can purify / bring from another timeline, and you know, the forage that Bellara got. More people are well, more people can forage.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have food, you just don't have a secured food source for the winter. And I think people are also quite aware that the river is, like, not a trustworthy food source right now. Usually in the winter, if you had a food problem, you would fish. Can't really do that right now.
Yeah, so if Richter was there, I think he'd be like, Torrin is right. We need to be a little bit more patient. We need to forage for the day while people get back on their feet. I apologize.
You hear Leha, which means she's been listening this whole time, just cackle a little bit, just to...
I don't know about you, Victor, but I can hunt on the move. I'm quite skilled at taking care of myself out there. I'm only taking you because I don't want your father to worry. I want him to concentrate.
Quite pathetic how competitive you are when we're all suffering. Torrin is looking after people. You're looking after people. I'm looking after people. Stop showing off for nobody. Nobody cares. You went to hunt for boar twice and you failed twice.
Victor, there's no need. That's a bit much.
Was it you that brought back the first boar then?
My point is, the second time I came to you and asked you how you did, you made it a competition. That wasn't why I asked. You're doing your bit, and that's fine. That's great. But we need to be slow and careful and considerate.
Death is not slow, nor careful, nor considerate.
Right, that's it. You are spreading bad miasma in here. Both of you out. Go on. He shoos you. He starts the shooing motion.
Shooing is happening.
I just look at him.
Come on. I don't want you killing Griff here. Not after all that hard work me and Leia have done.
My arm still aches.
No, I'll go. But I'm not stopping until I reach the gnomes.
Right, well, why don't you go and speak to Miss the Minotaur? Yeah, because she told me there's a village down the way. Why don't you see whether she knows the way? Maybe we could travel with her on the morrow. It makes sense to go with someone who knows the way.
Balara just throws her arms up and is just like, ugh, and fucking leaves.
John puts his hands on his hips, looks to Leia and goes, "You think I'd have chopped her dad's head off?"
She does what I does, she kind of laughs a little bit and just looks away. Just not touching that one.
Amaryllis, who moves for the first time. You've probably forgotten she's there, even though she's such a presence, just moves for the first time in a while and just says, "Mortal relationships are so strange."
Yes, they
Not
are.
to anyone in particular, just...
Torrin, I was saying those things to her to make a point. I wasn't trying to score points.
But it was a bit mean. You
Does
made
it
your
matter?
point.
People are dying.
Yeah, but it was like when I said that thing about your mum earlier, you know, it was a bit mean. You know, it didn't need to be said.
She tried twice. She failed twice because she went alone. Don't forget that.
We don't know whether or not she would have succeeded had she taken someone else.
Would you agree her chances would have been better?
Well, I'm not a hunter, but you know, yes, probably.
That's why I asked, did you talk to her about if she's ready to do all of this? She seems in over her head.
Yes, I spoke to her. She's fine. She's just different, Richter. She's not used to having to provide for other people other than herself.
We can't let her go. We can't let her go alone.
No, or tonight. I mean, anyone would say... I mean, look, he gestures. You can't see anything past the torchlight.
You stay here and look after these people. You're doing a very good job.
Thanks.
You wish me to watch her overnight?
Yes.
Why don't we send Richter? I quite liked having you here, Amaryllis. You're like a sort of calming presence.
Exactly. I'm not a calming presence to that girl.
Oh, that's true. You're not a calming presence here either.
I actually grin a little bit.
I guess it's best you both go. I'll see you tomorrow.
Amaryllis, could I please ask you to try and calm her down? At least until the morning.
Words are not my strong suit, but I will do what I can. Amaryllis is going to go and attempt to find Balara. I don't know how easy that'll be.
She's okay when you do eventually find her, she's back at the graveyard just like fully fucking ranting to Oscar and just like
digging.
Fucking pompous little asshole telling me that I can't take care of anything, calling me a competitive one who's top of his class. Like, yeah.
Yeah, probably eventually finds you just by following the ranting.
Oscar's eyes are like...
Yes, Amaryllis. I'm glad that you have come to see us. Please tell us what the village is like, please. Like, stepping forward towards Amaryllis. Been listening to this for like 20 minutes.
Amaryllis blinks slowly in slight surprise. Those under the care of your medicine women are on the mend. The shelters are sufficient for now. Things are... The immediate danger has passed, as long as the corruption does not spread too far.
The corruption is one enemy. The Minotaur are still out there. They might call for aid, and the dragon could return at any point. This is something that is not worth worrying about, I suppose. Many things are not worth worrying about. They'll only turn your breath to vinegar.
Indeed. As I am now amongst you, if the flow bequeaths me further warnings of their return, I can aid you better, but...
This flow, you speak of it often.
Yes.
It is your power.
I suppose that would be the best way of understanding it. Since I was a sapling, I have caught glimpses of what will be, what has come to pass. Sometimes things that have never been and have never come to, and will never come to pass. It is strange and unreliable, but sometimes I know when something is truly dangerous, which is why I appeared before you. You should not rely on... Yes, you should not rely on me, for it is not infallible, but what it bequeaths unto me I will share, and we will hopefully be able to use it to the advantage of your village.
Do your powers see a future where these children get along without biting at each other's necks like teething puppies.
Again, the slight crack of a smile. I have known many mortals. There are few that do not bite at each other's necks occasionally. But I believe their bonds are strong.
Sometimes you do have the strongest bonds with those that you do yell at the most, I suppose. You should listen to this tree, Balara. I think we all should.
She's still just like ranting to herself.
He just like. I am glad I never had a daughter. Although with the way Richter acts. And I suppose we can cut to morning.
That was glorious.
There's
Richter's the perfect son. Fuck you.
Balara would definitely wake up first and wake up Richter by kicking his bedpost and be like, bright enough for you yet? Is it bright enough outside for you yet? Are you ready?
I do not like you at all. But yes, it is bright enough, yes. I'll get up. Is it just you and me?
Obviously not. You need the tree. You need a healer. Going to go get Torin.
Maybe. Go on then. You're his friend.
You know, to him, you're his friend too.
No. Not for quite some time, I'm afraid.
Okay, well, since I guess you know everything, you can go ahead and find the tree.
I don't know everything. I don't know how you're so stupid.
She just doesn't even say anything and walks away.
All right. Who's finding who first? Friendship. I mean, finding Amaryllis doesn't necessarily need much conversation, to be fair.
No.
Finding Torin doesn't. It depends whether you have anything you need to talk about before you start heading out together, I suppose.
No.
Okay.
Just a very awkward atmosphere.
Yeah, you all get together and it's just quiet. You leave the outskirts of the village right now.
Tarna definitely makes some attempts at conversation, but they don't want to talk.
No, Balara would definitely
Yeah,
chit-chat
you'd reply
with you.
to him, but he's clearly trying
He's
to get
trying to get a big conversation, and you're trying to talk to Amaryllis, and she just doesn't notice you're talking to her, and Richter just ignores you. Yeah,
That's legitimately a
that is
classic
Ian.
move
Yeah.
to me.
That's us. The funniest is when it's to Zoe. It's like Zoe says "Oh yeah, it's about time me and Ian, right, Ian?" Blank. Anyway,
Well, what would Torin be saying to try and get Richter to talk?
So, I hear these gnomes make alcohol.
I've never had any business with these gnomes.
Balara has, haven't you, Belle?
Oh yeah, tons of times. They have good alcohol.
And tell Richter about what weapons do they have any weapons?
Big nasty teeth. Large, long claws.
Gnomes?
Oh yeah.
Well, from what I've read.
The fire of the sun shoots out of their eyes.
That doesn't sound quite right.
I think she's trying to be funny.
Oh, right. But they don't have claws, right?
They
No.
don't have claws.
Good,
I
good.
did once see a gnome with you conjure flame out of his eyes.
Balara like looks back like, oh, what, bitch? Like, for real? Oh.
So, as you go, you leave, like, the village of Cornucopia as it is now is really the central hut, the Leia's hut, and Oscar's hut. Really. Those are the only, like, solid structures you still have. As you leave those, there is straight up a little bit of time where you're walking through the burnt remains of other buildings. Actually, this far away, considering you're going north, it's not even burnt remains, they're just buildings that aren't really in use right now. Need a little bit of care. You see one of the stray village sheep, dead. A crow is picking out its eyes. Which does remind you that, talking of food, the village livestock went scattered during this attack, because you didn't really have, like, fencing or anything, because you didn't need it. So that is another thing you can do when you're out here, more likely on the way back, or if you want to do it before you went and saw the gnomes, for food stock. You mostly have sheep, but you have a couple of goats and things.
I would want to definitely keep an eye out for, like, tracking them.
Sure. Yeah, you can give me a quick survival.
But if I don't see anything promising, then
you can give me a quick survival while you're going.
Sure.
And then I also want you and all of you to give me a history roll. Bellara has advantage. Yeah, you don't see any track of them right now, but that's fine.
Don't need no advantage.
Oh yeah. While you start going away from the village through the Green Valley, the snow is melting as you're traveling. As the sun is rising in the places where the sun captures, the snow is melting, revealing the green grasses and pockets of flowers and things like that. As I've described the Green Valley before, it's kind of quite steep and sharp and rocky with these pockets of forest and open spaces. And then the river that trickles through. You're going upriver, against the water, but you're not traveling by the river, really. Bellara usually travels a little closer to the mountainside, especially when you're going to see the gnomes who live in the mountain. Of the Green Valley, this history check is of the communities of the Green Valley and how they may or may not help you. And both Bellara and Amaryllis know these things. You just know them. You have either encountered them before or you have just heard about them. You are going to see the gnomes of Clearkeep. That's what their enclave is called. Gnomes live in basically little fortresses. Not all of them are very defensible. The gnomes of Clearkeep keep pretty much to themselves.
And I'm friendly with them.
You are friendly with them to the extent that you actually know a secret way into Clearkeep.
Gnome Fortress.
Yeah. Gnome Fortress. Coming now to Steam.
Can you... Oh, jeez. Can you... describe the secret entrance to me?
I will when you get there.
Okay.
But it goes literally into their tavern, which isn't so much a tavern for trading, it's a tavern for the gnomes to drink and relax in. Into their secret room, which you gamble in. But the gnomes, they keep mostly to themselves. If you ever encountered one of the gnomes outside of their village, they would most likely say hello. They're not xenophobic, they just keep to themselves. They don't trade with your village, though maybe Richter and Torin have seen one of their little boats going down the river to trade with the village at the bottom of the river, and a city, the closest city, called Shinebank. We'll get back to that. But of the gnomes, these gnomes, they just kind of work away at their own things. They mine, they build, they live. They aren't the kind of gnomes that are incredibly clockwork and steampunky. No, they're, almost a bit more like dwarves in what your stereotypical thinking. Then, further up from them, because they live a little bit upriver from you, a couple of days, depending on how fast you're going. Further up there, basically at the mouth of the river where it comes down from a waterfall, is a tribe of Aarakocra, who are bird people, called Felonia. They have a spiritual connection to the elements. They are very spiritual people. They're not against others, and like the gnomes, that if you ended up seeing one, you would have conversation with them if they wanted to. Being bird people, they fly quite a lot of distance, so Balara has definitely had some conversations with them before.
Okay.
They are particularly a kind of hawk-eagle type of Aarakocra. They come in different sort of breeds and things. And it's a small village community that lives up in the rocky mountainsides by the waterfall. Then there's the Minotaurs. They're downriver. You killed a lot of them, but really you don't know how they're going to be now since those sort of things changed. In the river, upriver from your village, there is a different race of creature that again, a lot of people in the Green Valley keep themselves to themselves. It's worked for hundreds of years. The race that live in the river are called Gwailing. The easiest way to describe them is otter people. They are around 3 foot tall otter people. They, unlike the others where it's like, oh, they'll have a conversation, a Gwailing will threaten you and throw things at you until you leave them alone. They're not, like, evil. They're just very protective. They live in, like, riverbank shelters by the waterside. Huh?
No need to swear. We get your point.
How do you spell?
I will give you that. But they live upriver from you. They are the people that you have like the worst relation with because they just kind of live in little family units. They don't have like a big community or anything like that. Keep away from them. Don't really bother them. But they're very close to the land and they're good at herbalism and stuff like that as well.
I bet they've got fatty hides. Good for eating.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're sentient, so that would be a bit worrying, but, needs must.
Shh.
I mean,
we've all eaten goblin here.
I know! Speaking of goblins, you have seen goblins in the valley. Not super common. It's not like there's a community of goblins that lives here, but it's the Green Valley. Sometimes you'll just have a small community try to set up their luck and be, oh, there's goblins. They'll set up in this place because it's nice. And there are smaller communities of, like, there are other dryad and tree spirits that live in this valley that you vaguely know. But they're not villages, they're not settlements, and that's why I'm bringing up the settlements. Downriver is the largest town closest to you, is a Minotaur Goliath community called Balcutta. It is on the sea, has some docks, but really is like a good trading point for you guys. Your village has never needed to trade with them, like ever. But others have. The gnomes have, the Minotaurs have, stuff like that.
Wait, what's the name of this city? I'm so sorry.
Balcutta, and it's just a town.
Okay.
Balcutta on the sea.
Balcutta on sea, absolutely. The closest city to you, is called Shinebank, and that is a long fucking way away. That is, if you've gone downriver and then up the coast. It is a big city. The Minotaur of Shinebank are a different type of Minotaur. They are Minotaur that live almost like elves. They are bankers and rulers, and if you ever needed gold, someone would give you a loan in Shinebank. But it's a great, massive trading point. The gnomes here occasionally send, if they make something really talented, like if they make like a masterwork something, they'll sometimes take it to Shinebank. But it's a long ways away, but if you needed to get there, you would know how. And just because it comes up sometimes, the biggest city in Mother's Horn, because there's not many cities, is called Udar, which is why Miss Morta referred to Udarian coin. It is the largest community. If this place had a singular state, it would be Udar. It's basically a mega city of gnomes and Minotaur and Goliath and things like that. Amaryllis actually hears rumors that this city is built on old ruins. ruins where creatures made of metal continue at tasks they were put on hundreds and hundreds of years ago. But that's all under the city. Of course, Amaryllis would find that city very uncomfortable, but you might have most likely been there before. Pretty strict, but it's also a melting pot city, so you can kind of get away with all sorts of things if you knew how to get there. But it's quite a ways away, and would be difficult to travel. It's difficult to travel in Mother's Horn. It's mountainous. It's mountainous and snowy. But just so you know, that is the big community in the center of the continent. If you ever need it.
It's one of those. It's one of those things that Amaryllis would have probably been to Udar, hoping to look into the old ruins, then just found it too uncomfortable and
like totally.
So
if you have questions, ask away. Yeah.
Balara may have been to Shinebank, maybe, but definitely has not been to Udar.
Yeah, you wouldn't have been to Udar. Shinebank would be like you did like a frickin' like a full hike, maybe with a gnome. You know, like you did a really big trip.
It started as a drunk adventure, and
you just sort of ended up there.
Let's actually do it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you mention any Minotaur before the Arakakra or the Gnomes of Clear?
No, the Minotaur that live here are either of the Lion Bulls or small little communities that aren't really affiliated. So you know, like a few, like there is a Minotaur who has a hut, who lives here. You know.
Okay.
The Minotaur that come hang out at your gambling table aren't affiliated with the clan that attacked you. It's kind of in Minotaur culture, and you would know this. Minotaur either bind around a strong woman, or are off doing their own thing. It's really one or the other. I'm gonna
roll the Minotaur someday. I'm sorry.
Hey. Of the one. Like, it's a story that you've heard of the one war that Mother's Horn was a part of, the continent of Mother's Horn. Like, as a nation, they were all bound around this one warlord, war leader woman who had the power of the Mountain Mother and stuff like that. And that was actually, funny enough, against gnomes, apparently. But that story is mostly told in drunken tales, so...
the snows. The snow gnomes that were... destroyed in the war.
Those were gnomes across the sea.
I see what you're referencing there.
I don't know what you're talking about, Ian.
Okay, and then also, what is there anything that Balara would know that would be useful in conversation right now that I would like want to warn them about? Like customs or like things they shouldn't
For
do.
one, you know a secret way into Clearkeep, the gnomish settlement. Mm-hmm. You're not really meant to bring others, but you know the way in. But you would probably be like, just be polite as possible. Like, say your pleases and thank yous. Listen. Gnomes usually will extend the politeness that you give to them, right? When it comes to their community, like, the food is bland, but it will feed you, as is underground food and stuff like that, I suppose. I don't know. Maybe we'll probably figure out more of those as we go along, I think.
Balara would fall to the back then, so that she wouldn't have to, like, make eye contact with Richter. And kind of like fall in beside Torin and be like, okay, guys, just mostly let me do the talking. And until they talk to you, maybe don't ask too many questions or say too many things. And then I would elbow Torin and be like, oh, and it's a sign of respect for men to use incredibly high-pitched voices.
Really?
I'm going to insight that.
She was nudging you like it was a joke. So you have an insight with advantage. Richter has regular insight and Balara has a deception. Yeah, Richter, that sounds like it makes... I mean, gnomes are small and hence have a high-pitched voice, right? That makes sense.
But I would also, if I caught Torin not getting it, I would like make him look at me and be like, because I'm obviously trying to fool Richter and make him look like an idiot.
Torin shakes his head at Belle. He's clearly disappointed.
Just the higher you can get it, the better.
Well, I'll try and let you do the talking.
Of course, that first. But if you must speak.
Very strange.
Yeah, I'm not sure that would be all that respectful.
It's what they like. I don't question their customs and their culture. That's why I'm friends with them.
Maybe it's just a thing that they do when you're gambling.
No, it's all the time.
Maybe it's something that respectable people don't do. Maybe it's only drunkards and gamblers.
We're certainly
No.
not dealing with those people.
No, it's all the time. And yes, that's exactly how we're getting in. So be prepared for that.
Yeah, Belle doesn't like to hang around with hard-working folk. He nudges Belle this time.
Nope, sure don't.
Well, except us.
All right. One thing I don't know if I've told you, Docs, that your friend, like your main friend at the gambling, is a guy called Gale.
Okay. How do you spell it?
Gale.
Well, take a veil.
Okay.
No.
And then
There's several
put
ways
Gelwyn
to spell
in front.
His name is Gale Rain Clearkeep.
Thank you.
Oh my god, his surname's Clearkeep? All of their surnames.
Yeah,
Clearkeep.
that might just be
That's
tribe
all right,
name.
That's
Yeah.
fine, don't worry.
And maybe we'll meet him next week.
Remember the high-pitched thing. I'm looking forward to that.
Hashtag Gale.
Okay. So.
Hashtag
Hello,
Gale
laddies.
Yeah, like, Dean's got to try and practice being Richter and high-pitched at the same time.
I'm Richter.
Ramp up the puberty. Alright, speaking of puberty, why don't we go around each other and talk about... Fuck. Neil.
Oh, fuck.
You know, on my list of conversation topics, that's not the top one.
Well,
Have
when
you
a
been
mommy
in this
and daddy
chat?
love each other very much. They share a special hug.
Well, mommy and daddy love each other very much. They fuck.
Hey, I'm Neil. You can find me here at Naghai, on the Discord at Naghai, and on Twitter at Naghai_. You can also find me on twitch.tv/DaleRick, where I am playing in a Pathfinder Kingmaker campaign. Kingmaker, the style, not the module. It's good fun. It's very different. It's a little bit more similar to this now in that we are kings and we are making decisions, and we have a kingdom and a city. However, it's on a much different scale, and the characters are very different.
Different style. Different tone.
But it's a good time. Yeah, different tone. But it's a good time. So you should... it wasn't on this week because my throat is painful. So Scott gave me a break, so I wouldn't be talking for 10 hours straight. So that's the perfect chance for you to catch up on that, on Kingmaker, on Regicide, on the community. Jesus, there's so many Aurorum games. That's me.
All right. Next is Dean, who is praising the sun right now.
Yeah, you look like a painting.
Yeah, you know, like when people draw ugly people.
Not nice. I think you're beautiful, Diener. Oh,
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
no.
Oh,
I am
it's
XSplit Broadcaster.
It's the spirit of XSplit Broadcaster talking to us.
You
Please,
subscribe. No.
XSplit, fill us with your wisdom.
I would have a video coming out, but I'm sick, so I can't finish it yet. But it's very, very close.
Just like keep finishing that gameplay.
It's very close. Like if I was fucking this video, it would be grabbing my hands and going, keep going, don't stop.
Ollie's
So-
I've had enough, Yosh.
Ian, what's up?
Hello. I'm Ian Arvine. I play this game because I'm friends with Ollie.
And me.
And Neil, but I don't play this game because I'm friends with you. I don't get a free pass by being friends with you, I don't think. Anyway.
Definitely do.
I am the Olliverse Discord resident weeb, so ask me anime, manga questions. Also ask me about Jarviskjir because Jarviskjir is cool, and I have played far too many characters in it. There you go, you're welcome. Yeah, but you might not want to talk to Neil because he's Neil.
So rude.
If you want to hear more of me, and Neil goofing around in Jarviskjir, then subscribe to Ollie's Patreon for $5 a month, and you get access to a Patreon-only game, which is a Monday game where we goof around in Jarviskjir.
There's something. So the Monday game has been classic, and there's something unique coming
New
up.
original.
there's something new.
We got classic flavor. Now we're gonna have some vanilla flavor. Cherry. So it's not normal, that's for sure.
It's like pistachio.
It's like pistachio. It's like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing, but maybe it's nice.
It's good, yeah.
Maybe it isn't. We don't know. We'll
find
see.
out.
Yeah, new Monday game, which is linked to the old Monday game. So if you liked the old one, you're
nicely
not.
rooted.
It's not like this. It's a completely separate thing. Yeah, and somehow that connects to Doxy. So do the thing.
Hi, I'm Zero Doxy. Happy Gothtober. If you want to watch me post cute outfits of the day, you should follow me on Instagram because I am a goth princess all October. It's happening. Be ready. And then also, I guess I do Twitch streams sometimes. You can follow me there if you like gross out humor. And
That's the best fact.
and my friends hang out with me a lot. So I would love to see you there. Please smash that follow button at twitch.tv/ZER0DOXY. Thank you.
I think we should start asking people to follow us, Ian, for the memes. See how many followers we can get without ever streaming.
The gun lately, the button sticks.
I think I might start doing this for the memes.
You're gonna take away my precious power. How can they follow me if they're following you? That doesn't make sense. But you should follow me because there's some very exciting things coming up on Sundays at midnight. There is a game that currently takes place in the Underdark. It's completely different. But all Jarviskjir, all things are always hashtag everything's connected. The new Monday game starting Sunday. And Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, we hang out. I don't really know what we're going to be doing at the moment, but more important than that is soon something big this way comes. So keep your eyes out, keep your ears out, and pay attention, especially to this space. So that's it. We'll see you next week. Thanks to everyone who helped us on old Patreon, and I'm waiting for my little thing to scroll by so that I can do the thing. See you later. See you next week. Have a good one. Drink water.
Horns aplenty. We should have like a little jingle to go. Yeah.
We
so horny.
shouldn't. We shouldn't have.
I like your little.